We love GRTV.
We love GRTV. We love GRTV.
We love GRTV.
Hello, welcome to this show. My name is Lorenz. This is my friend Marcus here, and today we're going to talk about how he's an up-and-coming videographer in the Grand Rapids area. So Marcus, tell us about yourself.
Where do we start? You know, I'm just a black man in America trying to be great.
Right.
I'll just start with a little bit of my background. So, videographer, graphic designer. Videography is the main skill that I kind of run with and utilize. So I got started at one of my first jobs, which is actually here. And that helped me leverage opportunities to work as a producer, commercial producer for Wood TV 8.
Okay.
But before that, I had kind of grinded and hustled and learned the skill and the trade of videography, just pursuing different opportunities here in the community to do video projects for companies, for colleges, for people in the community and businesses, helping them grow, helping them market their business and things like that. So
You said you work at Wood TV 8, correct?
correct.
Did you film any of the riots last year?
So actually my role, thankfully, and it's so funny, the first place that I ever job shadowed was Wood TV 8. And it was that moment where I knew I would never work in news. So I work at Wood TV 8, but I work in the commercial side of things. So the commercials and advertisements that they air online as well as on TV, I pretty much work on those commercials. So
You weren't in the field. You wasn't.
Nah,
You wasn't in Rosa Park Circle.
There's a few times where I actually get out there and do certain things. So because of my skill and different abilities, they kind of put me into the producer role of producing commercials, but also producing some of the shows. So they have a morning show for women called 8 West, and they have a segment that they do on there called Live Local, Give Local. So I produce a lot of the Live Local, Give Local segments for that. And that's probably been one of the things that has grown me the most as a creative. I just got done doing this. Well, I'll kind of break down sort of what I do. So pretty much you get two to 4 minutes to highlight and tell an organization's story. Usually the show has like partners and they kind of pay, to air those shows. But what they do is they live local, they give local. So they're highlighting as an organization or a company, how are they giving back? So
Okay. How far do you want to take your company? Are you going to make movies? Are you going to do something? Is it always going to be a service? You're going to make movies, TV shows? How far you want to take it?
As far as my personal business, for that, I do a lot of work similar to what I do at Wood TV 8. I do commercials, promotional things for companies to help them promote themselves, advertise. And my biggest passion is not even more so being behind the camera. I want to create opportunities for youth to get into video productions. So it's definitely cool when I see people like yourself, getting opportunities to get into video production and really like seeing that you can have a career in it, not just, watch from the sidelines and see and be like, oh, that'd be cool if I could do that. Because when I got go ahead.
It's a lot of people actually doing videos. The hustle right now is you get you like a $300 Canon Rebel with the microphone, and you just go crazy. A lot of people do a lot of music videos. You started with like $25 photo shoots. So the hustle is out there. Everyone is doing that right now. It's a big hustle.
Yeah.
Are you a religious guy?
Yes, I am. I believe in Christ. So.
You think your faith got you here, all the way here?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So actually I started here because I went through like a program during the summer, and this was as a high school student. So I think I was a sophomore. There was a lady named Gretchen who used to work here. And on the first day when I came to interview, she was the first person I saw, and I was like, hey, you know, I was like, I'm interviewing for a job, so hopefully I get it. It'll be crazy. The person who encouraged me to pursue video production, you know, I would be coworkers with. And fast forward, we ended up being coworkers, and I ended up growing what I feel is my calling today, by the grace of God, teaching video classes to middle school and high school youth. So I have a company called Morph Media Square.
Morph Media Square.
Morph Media Square.
Okay.
MorphMediaSquare.com.
Okay.
Got to plug that. So I actually teach video classes to middle school and high school students, and basically give them the tools that they would need to get into the business professionally. So.
What are some of the tools that's needed to get into the business professionally? Actually, what kind of work ethic do you really need? Because a lot of people don't know about the work ethic that goes into the behind the scenes and setting everything up, the sleepless nights. Talk some more about that.
Yeah. I'm sure you can relate. And I'm
most
sure
definitely, but everybody got to
hear it. I'm sure
hear
you got some wisdom on that, but really, I got to say this first. Success is what you view success as, because I can tell you, you know, what it looks like to be successful in video production for me, but I'm sure you have your own vision or view of what it could look like to be successful. And ultimately, like when I do video, it's not just about, you know, going and making the most money. Of course, that's nice, but literally before every shoot that I do, I'm praying about the project. I'm praying that whoever it touches or impacts, it impacts them and it reaches that person. Just because the more you get into video, the more you start to discover about yourself, about your purpose and why you're here on this earth. A month ago, I just did a story about a guy who got ALS, which is a very rare and confusing disease, and it affects you being able to even just walk, talk, you know, stand up. So this guy went from being normal one day to the next day, literally like maybe a week later, the guy is completely pretty much a vegetable, or in a vegetable
state. Yeah.
And it's hard, you know, hearing his story, sitting down with his wife. You know, I'm behind the camera recording it, thinking of like, how can I help tell this story to the best of my ability in a way that'll impact others. And that's really like where you get the idea, like, look, God, you have me here for a reason. Who am I supposed to reach? Who am I supposed to touch?
You see more of your videography as a service to other people, not just a way to make money, but as a service to other people.
Yeah, now you got to make money, but yeah, at the end of the day, that'll come with serving the Lord, and also He'll give you discernment on where you.
So what do you think when people say, don't chase the money? Everyone needs money. Everyone wants to make money, but they say, don't chase the money. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
Money, similar to success, is relative to what you view it as. So I could say, well, I need to make, you know, $2,000 by the end of, you know, the next 2 months or whatever. But at the end of the day, I have the knowledge, the wisdom, the heart, the talent, the skill to be able to make 10 times that, 20 times that. You know, it's almost as if money is fictitious. You know, you decide what your value is. People can't tell you, you know, what your value is or what your worth is. You kind of got to decide that and figure out, you know, how do I charge accordingly? How do I get the value that I need in order to produce great work?
Right. That's a big thing on YouTube. there's a lot of videographers in the world that watch a lot of YouTube videos, and the one big video that pops up is, how do I charge for my work? So how do you charge for your work?
That's a really good question. So, take out a pen and paper, no. Because when I got started, and this is like high school, college days, that was one of the things that I looked up probably 100 times, and I got 100 different answers, and none of them, was necessarily right for me. I got to the point where I kind of took my experience and what I learned in how I kind of approach charging is I actually created a tool which allows me to first start with all of my expenses. So I call it a price quoting tool. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. And without getting too, deep into it, basically what it allows me to do is in consideration for all of my variable expenses for the entire year, because that's all the things that you're spending money on monthly, that at least has to be covered, So I go through all of the expenses that the project would incur, and that's from travel to how many hours I think I might spend on the project, to how much not equipment, but like if I have to buy props for it, or if I have to buy things in order to make that specific project happen, I need to consider all of those expenses, as well as consider myself. If in the sense of if I was an employee, I would need to know how much does my employee need to make. Okay, if I had a team, how much would my team need to make? So those are the things that I incorporate into how I charge, because I need to be, in order to grow, I have to be considerate of what my expenses are. Otherwise, if I always have expenses that are higher than where I want to grow to, I'm always going to be stuck. So start with your expenses, figure out there's a psychology and there's a real art to understanding how much a client can afford or what their budget is.
Yeah.
So a lot of people kind of avoid that and like to go the route of like, okay, let me not ask, what their budget is for this project. Let me just kind of guess, or let me
work with them just so I can get the profit.
Yeah,
right.
And then you really miss opportunity to do amazing work for a client, because if I get a client that says, give me a price, and then I just say, okay, well, here's how I come up with prices, here's what I can do for you. You miss an opportunity to potentially invest in some gear or rent out some stuff to produce at a high quality for this
selling
client.
yourself short, right.
Exactly. So let's say I get a project for 15 grand. It's not because I have a price, like an hourly price, that I'm able to charge the 15 grand. And that's how most people go off. They go off of,
Yeah,
okay,
I've seen that a lot on YouTube. There's a guy named Future. It was, don't charge per hour, charge your value. That's what you're talking about, right? Okay.
And I would take it a step further to say, it's not even about you at this point. You need to know what you need. You need to know what you need for your own survival as a company, as an individual, at least. But then you also need to know what the client expects and what you can deliver. So if I believe I can deliver a $20,000 video, I'm going to charge you $20,000 if it's feasible for your budget.
Okay.
If you don't have that kind of budget, I'm going to work with you and figure out what is your goal. And I guarantee the more you ask the client and get to understand what their vision or goal is for what they want to accomplish, the better, the more easier it will be to be able to charge them and to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, I know video production. I know it's going to cost me, $200 to rent out a lens that I need to produce this project. If I'm doing all that, I'm spending 3-4 hours between going back and forth, getting a rental, dropping the rental back off. All of these are the expenses that you go
that's
into.
That's a lot to think about. I didn't even think that deep into it.
And really all it is just create a list. What expenses do I think I'll have for travel? What expenses do I think I'll have for the project itself? What expenses do I need to account for in the editing? Understand that first, and then some people like to go the route of like doubling it to at least get a good, gauge of like, I need to at least make double, this for it to be profitable. Because you're not in the business just to, do a video and call it a day. You want to be profitable,
right?
And there's nothing wrong with being profitable as a business person, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
we all got to grow.
So when was the first time you picked up a video camera?
When I was a baby. No, just kidding. No, I don't think there was video cameras out back then. The first time I picked up a camera.
The first time you picked up a camera, when was it?
So probably when I first started, it was in high school. People were in need of like high school senior pictures and things like that.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I don't really like photography. And this is how I knew I didn't like photography and would never go that route. I just kind of volunteered myself and I was like, I'll take it. I got a camera that I bought. Mind you, this is like a cheap GE, very small, but nobody had, anything relative to it. So I was like, fine, I don't mind taking your photo. So I went downtown, took a few of my friends to the hotel down there, and we took photos in the lobby and stuff. This is a long time ago.
You don't even, you keep saying a long time ago like he's 70.
Yeah, man, I'm getting old, bro.
You about, looking at you about probably 28, 30.
Close.
Oh, cool. You ain't that old, man.
Nope.
You young, man.
Yeah. That's all y'all need to know.
So after picking up the camera for the first time, what's the biggest mistake you made in your company that's like, you just wish you could do that part over one time?
I probably don't look at anything as a mistake.
Yeah.
Everything really taught me something. But the most humbling thing that happened was I got a project that was, it wasn't that big of a financially of a project, but I had a project and it was for a company, and this is like a few years back. And if you start getting into video, you'll notice that like you'll use a hard drive a lot. You can't just use your computer. So the hard drive, I moved into a new house, and
don't tell me you lost it.
No, well, hold on. So the hard drive that I got, because I didn't know anybody and I didn't have anybody to kind of steer me in the right direction. But the hard drive I bought was like a 10 terabyte hard drive. So I just kind of kept everything on there, or at least all my video projects on there. And by this point I had so many, so I had my projects on a few different hard drives. But basically moved into a new house, plugged it in, and I think there was like like thunder and lightning that night. So because it's plugged into the wall in order to power that 10 terabyte hard drive as well as the computer, what happened was the outlet, the power strip wasn't surge protected, I guess. So it ended up frying
the hard
drive because it was plugged into the outlet, and the storm knocked out the power, which also destroyed the hard drive.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, so these are the things that you don't have too many conversations. They're not teaching that in video 101.
No, they're not. As a producer, I have my own hard drive. People lose their hard drives, drop it, all sorts of stuff. But I would never think
Right.
That you
that
just
out of all the
unlucky.
ways to lose a hard drive. So I didn't lose it. What I had to do was I had to humble myself and say, look, I vowed to provide a service for this company. I know that what I'm doing is important for them. And whether I personally want to spend the money to retrieve that information, it's the right thing to do. So I ended up paying $1,000 to get that hard drive recovered. So I got it recovered. And I ended up letting the client know, like, hey, this is what happened. I also had the stuff backed up, but the other hard drive had went down too.
Dang, well, that was a bad storm.
No, literally,
That was a bad
it's like
storm.
It's one thing to say like, oh, you didn't back it up, but when you back it up and that hard drive goes down too, like that's like, bruh, like
It was
how
nothing
did
you
this
could do.
happen?
You couldn't even plan for that or nothing.
Exactly. But I did learn from that situation, because never feel that you, even when you become great at what you do, that you can't make a mistake, or that you're too skilled or too big to make a mistake or mess something up or have something fail on you. Things fail all the time. Even at the station, we've had cameras that have went down on us mid-shoot, and you kind of have to roll with the punches and be like, how does your camera, how does this just
Turn off.
magically not work anymore? Like the audio, like the headphone audio jack on one of our things stopped working, and it's like, out of all the things that stopped working,
It's the little things.
Yeah, and this didn't happen to me, but to my coworker, and she was like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, that's life. That's a perfect reflection of what life does and throws at you. But the best thing you can do is always be honorable in how you deal with it. The client wasn't even upset. They kind of were like, that's crazy that happened to you. I know that you didn't make it up, because that's like the craziest thing to kind of make up.
Right.
But they worked with me through the situation, because I told them that I was retrieving the information, so I'd be able to get the footage back, but potentially not in time for their event that they wanted. So it's like, even still, with all that, I had the stuff backed up too. So I had some of the footage and stuff, because I had it like on 3 different hard drives. Like, I don't play when it comes to backing things up.
Yeah, you learned your lesson from that. 3 different hard drives?
Yeah, even in that, I had 3 different hard drives where things were backed up. Not even kidding. So I had a good chunk of the footage on the 3rd hard drive. I think it was just like a couple of interviews that weren't on the backed up the 2nd backed up hard drive. So it's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Stuff you don't really.
That's life, they say, huh?
Exactly. But the biggest thing that I could have learned is people don't necessarily, they care, of course, what happens, but they care about how you treat them and how you deal with them when things hit the fan, and how you respond to situations. I had a shoot, and it was an outdoor shoot at a pavilion at John Ball Zoo, and when the client got there, the power wasn't on. So they're like, hey, we just got here and the power's not working, and I know we're gonna need it. And I was like, no problem. We got a plan and a backup either way. But what I'll do is I'll call and see if they can get one of their on-site mechanics and technician to come out and take a look. They fixed it in like 2 seconds.
That's great.
And the client was like put at ease, simply because I was calm about it. I was like, things happen, but we also create backups and things.
I think you said something good there. It's normally not the situation. It's normally how you react to it, how you handle it. That's something huge. That's a huge lesson in itself, honestly. Yeah. Let's see. I'm running out of questions.
What about you? So
what's going on? Talk to me. What's up?
What's one of the biggest drivers for you right now in pursuing video?
I don't know. I just like to create. It's something in me. It's an innate feeling. I just go. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing it. It's just I just like to create things, just to do certain things. I got my start when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old.
Okay.
My brother was younger, so he didn't really hang out with me at the time. So I'll be kind of by myself. I used to do stop motion animations, right? You're gonna laugh at this. I was a huge wrestling fan. So,
Oh yeah, no, I was a huge wrestling fan.
so
Back
what
in
I
the day.
did was I had a collection of action figures,
Yeah.
and then I saw it on YouTube where you can make them move. So I was like, oh, this would be dope. So I bought all the rings. I bought setups for it.
Yeah.
I took cardboard boxes, created a huge design for it. Then I did stop motion animation. So I recreated my own show technically. Then that's when I started my YouTube for the first time.
Yep.
This is all like 10 years old. I was just freestyling then too, just figuring it out. So I don't know, I just stayed around it. That led to me getting bored after a while. Found music production. That's loud. My brother's like, whatever. It was just kept piling on top of each other. When I got into high school, I studied IB film, but I didn't really like hanging out during like the down period of high school. So I just go to the studio and make beats for a couple hours. So I kind of just stayed around it the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to school for your videography stuff?
Yeah. First of all, that's dope that you got so many talents and things going on within, you know, being a creator. I feel like it hurts my brain just to like try to balance and maintain video
Mine too.
itself. So props to you on that. And I'm sure you know, certain audio programs and stuff like that. Bruh, like I'm like, where do you put all of
It's all the same. It's all the same, I promise you.
Okay.
Just
that's
like when you work with the camera and the exposure's too high and things start fanning out, that's the same thing as clipping when there's too much audio and it turns red. It's all the same thing. If you understand it one way, you understand it all the ways.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you. So, yeah, you had a question though.
Did you go to school for videography?
So technically, yes. I went to Calvin College for 2 years. Now I'm back in school to hopefully finish and get my bachelor's. And that's a personal choice that I decided. It's not that I felt I needed to. But I would say this about school. Creatives, in comparison to a lot of other careers, like our drive and passion comes from what we do and wanting to do, produce good work and stuff. So when other people kind of look at, the creative field and say, oh, well, you need to get your degree, the same kind of logic doesn't necessarily translate when you're talking about the creative field. And especially, if you believe in God and believe that he has everything under control.
Has a purpose for you,
Yeah. If you believe that your path will always be before you, it's not one of those things where you have to search high and low. You're gonna go through your different jobs and careers and different experiences, but it's all building you up. And if you stick with what you are passionate about, which is, video or music, things will find their way of working out in the way they're supposed to. And that looks different for everybody, right? So I can't say everybody will be a videographer. But I can say that everybody's journey is significant and it's their journey.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you end up, making major Hollywood movies or end up being a producer at a TV station or end up, being a manager of a company, who knows?
Who knows?
All of those skills, all of those experiences are a part of who you are. And that's the part that you got to hold on to and appreciate.
If you had to name this chapter of your life, what would you name it?
Supposed to be writing a book, so I probably should have a name for it. Just gratitude.
Gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I would name mine. That's a hard question. Let's see, 21. We couldn't name it chapter 21, but that's boring.
We'll just say this is the editing phase, so you can change the name later.
Okay. No, I gotta find a name for it in a second. I want it now. We'll call it Transformer.
Transformer.
We don't know what's about to happen, but I'm going. Something crazy might happen. I don't know. I just like Transformer for some reason. It's gonna transform to something big. I'm sure of it.
Yep.
Most definitely.
That's awesome.
Have you ever shot a movie before?
So, I've shot a few short films. One, which was shown at the 36-hour film festival. So, you get 36 hours, and this happens here in Grand Rapids. And a lot of the colleges, their film programs send a group of students, or they let their students know. And then there's some people who actually do produce films, or have a little free time and want to participate and get the accolades, so to speak, for being in a film festival, who are part of it. So you got all these different levels of skill, and all of the films end up being really, really good. But I did that, and I got a few friends from college, and we're like, look, we're gonna do this, and we kind of divided and conquered, and ended up producing a film called Dave. We won second best film overall, and then best script. So that was one of the highlights of and one of the things was oh, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I was in the contest is against people in all the colleges over here, and there's some people who do it professionally. So it was definitely cool.
So what do you think makes a great script? I've been wanting to write a script myself. I'm all over the place. I want to try everything. So what makes a great script?
Right now, I gotta have an answer since I won best script.
Yeah, you do.
I can't just be like, I don't know.
I don't know. Nah, you know something. Just or any tips you could think of.
A great team, probably. In video, sometimes it feels like one of those careers where it has to be, a lone
wolf kind of thing.
Yeah. But great things come from great teams, and if you can learn and master the skill and art of putting in place the right people around you, the right skills in your circle and environment, it's the same thing with companies. Companies look to find and nurture the right team so that they can thrive, and it's the same for individuals.
You said you're writing a book?
So I journal a little bit. So my hope and goal is to turn and translate that into a book at some point in my life. Who knows when it'll be finished, but I try to be consistent in writing in there, and I really put things in there related to leadership, entrepreneurship, and faith. So the book would be along those lines.
Okay. Do you meditate often, or your journal? Is your journal your form of meditation and just getting your mind right?
Honestly, I need to journal more, but I've been journaling in there since 2010, probably. So it's, even though the book is pretty hefty, I'm not as consistent as I should be at this point.
Okay.
But as far as meditation, I would just say what I do is I put the right people in and around me, so that I'm always surrounded by people who can pour into me and fill me up. So I probably got a mentor in every area of my life. So a mentor for business, a mentor for life, a mentor. I got two mentors for life, kind of. One is black and one is white. And I feel like that's important too, because, if you just got all these mentors and none of them are black,
or none of them can relate to you a certain way, or they don't have the same perspectives of you.
Right.
Right.
So
right.
I got a mentor that's for faith, I would say, and they all of my mentors are Christian and believe in Christ. So just putting somebody
That's terrible.
and scene. Putting somebody in place in different areas of your life so you can grow and thrive.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Okay, we gotta give you some questions.
Ask me some questions, man.
Yeah.
I like talking to people. I have a lot of mentors myself. I ask people a lot of questions because I'm looking for knowledge consistently all the time. What can I do better? Where did I mess up? So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but that's everything. That's life.
I got one question for you. Is there any barriers or things that you felt were barriers getting into video?
Just not know what I'm doing. Really, that's the main barrier. You just pick it up and then you just start filming stuff. Then you have other people who say, no, this doesn't look good. And then you gotta ask them what doesn't look good. Then you gotta go off what you think looks good. Now you have to watch all these movies. It's a process. Learning to love the process is the hard part.
Right.
But then once you get to the point where it's like, oh, this is easy, this is cool, that's when you start having fun with it. I could put that same concept to making music. I suck at making melodies. Like every producer who starts, you hit the wrong keys, it doesn't sound right, it sounds like trash, just sounds like like ew. You don't want it no more. But then you figure it out, like, okay, I like how this sounds. Then you get better at your drums. Now you kind of in your room vibing by yourself.
Right.
And you get your own little walk going. We got your earphones in, you're playing your beats. This is dope. But that's my main barrier, just starting from zero, which is never a bad thing.
Right.
But that's the main barrier, starting from zero, having to rebuild, take what I learned, fix it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have any main barriers or anything that holds you back?
I'd say when I got started, I just didn't see a whole lot of people in these spaces. Like,
oh, that leads me to my next question. Like I said, the scenario, if I'm from Maryland, or I'm from here, but I lived in Maryland, been back and forth.
Sure.
If I'm gonna explain what my position was. You just plop down in Grand Rapids, boom, plop down. You're creative. Where's the first place you go?
To like
To network, to find more creatives. Where's the first place you should go?
For you, Spring GR.
Huh. I just met a guy from Spring GR yesterday.
Yeah.
He goes to the church I work at, actually.
What's his name?
Ty.
Oh yeah.
You know Ty? That 6-person rule is real. I'm telling you.
Nigerian brother.
I'm telling you that 6-person rule is real.
Yeah, Ty is cool people. I know him, of course, through Spring GR. But yeah, that'd be a good space for you to be in, because the program has been around for at least 10 years now.
Okay.
Every year they have a class of new people who are wanting to become entrepreneurs or have a business, and they're just hoping to grow it to the next level and get their own store or get their own whatever. So once you go through that, you become a part of this network of people and this family of people who are either actively going through the journey and process of starting a business or figuring out, how do I quit my job and go into, start my own stuff. And that's just a whole, whole nother level of support and community, to go alongside somebody as they go through that journey and phase of their life. That's a solid community to be a part of.
Okay. Are you a huge music fan?
I don't know what determines huge music fan, but I listen to J. Cole and Kendrick. I feel like those are the main two rappers people say.
It is, but there's a reason for it. You're good.
Right. Who else? I like Schoolboy Q.
Okay. Yeah. We got a lot in common with the music. Okay.
Yeah. Who else is it going to throw out there? TDE. And
you like the whole squad. Huh?
Yeah.
Isaiah Rashad actually just dropped the album. You listen to it?
Yeah. My friend, and he's supposed to have a concert too.
Here? Around here?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't know
Or
that.
I don't know if it's like here, but you know, anything that comes to Detroit or Chicago is we
You
like,
gotta
oh,
go.
it's a
You
concert
gotta go.
here. Yeah, so music definitely is kind of like the drum to my work, and I think that's kind of where I start. Even in making videos, it's like, okay, what is the feeling? What music is gonna give me the feeling that best correlates with what I'm trying to make?
Are you hip to any new Grand Rapids artists?
My friend
Who?
or my friends, Philo and Raydell Shemaine.
Raydell's a battle rapper. He goes crazy.
Yeah.
I see him on Instagram all the time.
Right, yeah, he's a dope battle rapper, but he also put out a album like a few years back, and you know, I'm not just supporting them just because they're
you're
my
good.
friends, but like I listened to the album, I thought it was solid, you know, because even with my friend, you know, I live with a friend of mine's, Philo, and he makes music, but I'm gonna be honest with what touches me more, like as far as the artistic approach or the messaging in the music,
Is house music like the big thing around here?
Hey,
Every time I get on Instagram, it's a breakout festival, house music festival. Is that the thing around here?
I'm not sure what that is, and well, I know what it is. It's this is a very Dutch rooted community. The history and origins, go back to Native American people and Dutch people who lived here. Black people too, but this community nurtures a lot of that kind of culture, but also music. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm into music production, so I'm always looking for the next big thing. But there's no hip hop concerts. I'm more of a hip hop fan. I listen to a lot though. Big lo-fi fan. Slowly into EDM. This place made me love country. I'm not gonna lie. Country songs you guys can write. They can write some songs, man. Got me
don't
thinking.
knock country. Especially pop country. It's starting to make its way through.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, if you start noticing pop country, they're taking from hip hop using the 808 machines, switching their drums up, changing their song structure. It's a small change, but if you notice, you notice.
Right.
When I was walking around downtown asking people what we could change around here, some people said music. They want more festivals here. Do you think that's something we could actually do here? More music festivals with more different genres, things like that?
Yeah. When we get past COVID, I think we're gonna see a lot of different opportunities for new up and coming venues, artists, things like that, which are gonna open up the door for different kind of music and things like that to be appreciated, especially because people want to get out the house now,
Yeah.
especially now more than ever. So
Okay. Last question before we go.
oh,
This is the big question. What could Grand Rapids do to better the city?
What can Grand Rapids do to better the city? I think the city has to do for Grand Rapids in order to better, the whole community. So I kind of would flip that question on its head and say, what can we do as individuals to add and contribute to the community? And I think like what you're doing is part of that, making shows that highlight the people from here, but also highlight, the opportunities, the people that live here and thrive here. So the more people who see enough value here to contribute to it, for me it's teaching the video classes. That's part of how I contribute, in addition to like making videos and stuff. But
I like how you said that. See enough value here to put into it. It's just a different mindset shift. So I like how you said that you have to see the value here, which I see it. A lot of the things we could do to build the city up, I feel like we should do it. So I like how you said that.
Yep. And continue doing what you're doing, man. Like, it's honestly like people who are willing to be outspoken, do things different, and create their own lane and avenue that's gonna grow and create more things that really take Grand Rapids to the next level. So
Yeah.
props
All
to
right.
you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you guys for watching. See you guys again.
Peace. All right.